Hello and welcome to another episode of Indie Life Adventures. We are coming to you recorded from Calvert Marina in Solomon's Island, Maryland on this cozy Saturday night where we are sipping champagne to celebrate purchasing the domain name Indie Life Adventures.
For 10 years.
I'm being ambitious. And I went ahead and was like, why just do it for 3? Let's secure this for 10 years. So cheers to us figuring out how to make a website.
Indie Life Adventures for the next decade.
Yes, indielifeadventures.com. So today's episode is one that I have been looking forward to because I have completely nerded out on the topic of points and miles for taking practically free travel around the world. And since we did our Japan trip for almost free, practically free, not really free.
Not even close.
Not even close. Not even close to free. But I thought it was an excellent time to talk about the good, the bad, how it all works.
Well, it's probably way better than the price that you would, have to guess for on The Price is Right or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I imagine if somebody paid out of pocket to go to Japan for 16 days and compared it to what we paid to go to Japan, it's totally worth doing points and miles. So we're going to tell you how we did it and, just have a little bit of a dialogue about that.
She's going to tell you how we did it, and I'm going to nod and act like yes, because I'm apparently her number 2.
The P2.
I'm her P2.
Yes.
And if you're into this whole points and miles game, then you know what she's talking about. If you're not, like me, I just feel like I'm
along for the ride.
Along for the ride.
So
I'm the P2.
You're the P2. So there is, for those of us who are in the military, there's a whole language. Everybody speaks in acronyms, and when military people are talking, those non-military people are like, what the hell are they even saying? Well, it is very similar to those that really get deep into the hobby of points and miles, especially like when you join the Facebook groups and, what do I have? Dog fur, probably.
No. Sorry.
Leftover lunch. This is unscripted. Thank you.
I'm just trying to get it off the camera.
Are you going to do the mom thing and lick your thumb?
No, you should. Totally right there.
Yes, dear. This isn't weird at all.
I know, but it's going to show up in the camera.
Yes.
It's right there. Get it. Feel it. I think I got it.
I think I feel it. I don't even know what it is. It's probably an actual skin blemish that you just are pointing out to all of our viewers.
I think we got it now. It was probably just...
Let's just go and keep going.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
These are the moments when you wonder whether you just start over or you go with it. But since I feel like our audience really needs to get to know us, we're just going to go with it.
Yeah, why not? We're real.
Lord, yes, we are.
I mean,
mostly
real. Sometimes too real.
But
real.
What I was
This is going
saying,
to the be real.
The be real.
The be real.
The point I was trying to make is that the points and miles enthusiasts have an entire lexicon that is all their own. And at first I was like, what?
You used a big word there.
Lexicon?
Yeah.
And at first when I'm reading through the Facebook posts, I couldn't even understand them because it's all acronyms. But as I've been involved in this hobby now for about 1.5 years, I'm starting to understand and really internalize these acronyms and throwing them around. So, he's the P2. I'm the P1. That means player 1, player 2. Usually
I like video games, and I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, it's player 1 and player 2.
Yeah.
Because what happens in this hobby is one person gets super excited about it. That'd be me. And they drag their reluctant partner along. That would be him. And usually the P1 does all the work and just tells the P2, hey, use this card. All right, swap it out now, use this card.
But she doesn't. She makes me do it. She drags me into it. She makes me send except for the last one. The last one I just handed her my phone and said, here, go for it.
You do it.
Use my information. You're so happy for this.
All right. So let's tell our audience what in the hell we're talking about.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about points and miles.
Points and miles.
But we're talking about an expedited, crazy way to earn them that feels like it's wrong, but it's not. It feels wrong. And I think the reason it feels wrong, does
What
it feel
feels
wrong
wrong?
to you?
What part?
The part about using credit cards to
Oh
earn points and miles.
yeah.
It feels wrong.
Feels naughty.
Because I really resonated with the Dave Ramsey plan and all the baby steps. And he is so anti-credit card that for the longest time, I was anti-credit card. Refused to use them, would only use my debit card, and for a very long time. And so now that we are utilizing, oh my goodness, credit cards, a lot of credit cards, it feels very weird. So the most important...
Lots of credit cards. Credit cards for everything.
The most important thing I would say is that this hobby is not for anyone who has consumer debt. If you have credit card debt right now, turn this video off. It is not for you. The second most important rule is that you pay your credit card off on time and in full every single month. If you ever pay interest on the card, it defeats the purpose of the free points and miles.
So, how do we do that?
Well, the way we do that, I actually wrote a little checklist for our new card procedures. Anytime we get a new card, step 1, activate the card. Step 2, set up autopay immediately. The moment you activate it, you set up the autopay to pay the card in full each time it's due.
Well, statement balance.
The statement balance, yep. Yep, pay the statement balance in full every time it's due.
And that needs to be talked about because people don't always understand the differences. Like, you can go in and pay full, but if you do it before the card is due.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to add that. Let's not go down that rabbit hole yet.
Right.
I'm going to put it as a lesson learned. So if we feel like we haven't gone too far over time, we'll cover it. Payments, because it is something we learned along the way.
Yep.
But the point is to make sure to pay your statement balance on time, in full, every single month. Because if you have any balance that accumulates interest, it completely defeats this whole game.
Right.
You must be responsible with your money to do this.
Especially at credit card rates these days.
Oh, it's insanity.
And you can
Absolutely
have great
insanity.
credit. You can have great credit, but they're going to charge you like 24%.
Yeah, I haven't even looked at what our interest rates are, but they're all in the 20s.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because we never pay the interest because we always pay on time and in full every single month.
Right.
If you can't do that, do not do this game. I cannot emphasize that enough. You must be organized. You must be financially aware and in control of your personal spending because you want to make sure that you are not spending more money than you normally would in your everyday life.
Right. The whole
If
point
you're
is
spending more than you would normally, then again, it defeats the purpose. What's the point in earning points and miles if you're spending more money than you would in your normal everyday life?
That's right. No, I agree.
I agree too.
And if you have those little things that you're like, that are coming up, that are kind of bigger purchases.
Be strategic about it.
Yeah, be strategic.
Yes, and there's little tips and tricks as you're going through this of ways to meet your minimum spend requirements. I'm going to put that on the list of things to talk about if we get there. Minimum spend tips.
I wasted like two minutes trying to wipe your face off.
I know, he did. I know.
I'm sorry.
All right, so P2, I would like you to explain the overview.
Do you see what she just did there? She's like, I would like you.
Well, mostly because I think I get super excited about it. And I think you can eloquently give the gist of how, like if you gave the high level process of how we earn the points using credit cards.
Oh yeah, it's super simple. Step 1, find the cards that have the minimum spends where they give you the bonuses. Find the one that's best suited for you. I like doing it through a process of finding the card that does not just one card availability, but there's multiple cards to the same place, like Chase or something like that. And once you have that kind of planned out, you go through their cards and you start off with card number 1, and then, so you pick your card, The one that has going to give you the best bang for your buck, what you're looking for, whether it's
sign-on bonus.
the best sign-on bonus and the ability to use it, right? And then you get your card. You set up your automatic payments.
I'm gonna let you keep going because I realized I forgot a prop I need to.
Oh.
So you keep going.
So
I'll be
you
right
set up
back.
your automatic payments, and then once that's done, you just use it to pay your normal bills and your whatever you're spending your money on with your debit card normally, use your credit card for. So when you go to the grocery store to buy groceries, use your credit card. When you go to the
Gas station.
use your credit card. When you have that strategic high-priced item that you
Like
know,
an auto insurance premium where you get a discount to pay the whole 6 months at one time
Right.
and not month to month.
Yeah.
You can put that on a credit card.
just pay it, So you look for those things that you're going to be using, and then you use your card. You hit your minimum spend, and then once you hit your minimum spend, or you're getting close, you start thinking about your next card.
Yes.
Now, that's if you're single. Now, if you're married, it's even easier because you can get the second your player 2 to start doing your player 2 stuff, right? They get their next card.
But what's the special part about a P2 with their next card?
What about it?
You get to refer them.
Oh,
Referral bonuses.
Yes, referral bonuses, right? So then you use your you get your referral bonuses by referring your player 2. And then your player 2 signs up, gets the card, and then you do the process again. And all the while, you're looking for the next cards that are going to be in succession. Now, you could have done it either prior to, as you're going, whatever. There's enough time delay to kind of figure out what's going to be the best for you. But I would suggest going with the product or a card that's going to have multiple cards that are going to give you the points that are going to pile up in the same area. So let's just say you have a $90,000 bonus for a minimum spend of
90,000 point.
90,000 points for a minimum spend of, I don't know, 3 to
That's what I have my
5
my
or
prop here for.
6,000
I'll
or
give
whatever,
you some
whatever it
real-life
might
examples.
be, right? And then what we do is we are like, okay, well, that's going to take, and there's like a certain time window. Usually it's 2 to 3 months. Right?
Usually it's 3 to 4 months.
Oh, 3 to 4 months. 3 to 4 months on average. And that window, we're like, okay, so how are we going to meet this minimum spend within that time frame? And so we're using it for our big purchases, our reoccurring purchases, all those things that we know we do from day to day or even on a monthly basis that we can spend them on. Like sometimes you can't use your card for rent, but we have something to cover that as well.
Yeah.
And things like that. So the big overview is you pick a card or a series of cards.
Family of
A
cards.
family of cards. You pick a person to start in your group if you have a group of 1 or 2 people. And then you spend the money and you get the bonuses and you move to the next card.
Yes.
That's the overview.
That is the overview. Thank you. That was excellent.
Did I do a good job?
You did a phenomenal job. And you brought up things that I had forgotten to even talk about. The family of cards is very important because there are some credit cards. Let's just use, for example, like a hotel branded card, and the points you earn can only be used at that one specific hotel. That is very limiting. What you want to do is choose a family of cards that all earn a type of points that can not only be used, they're transferable points. So the points can be used at like 15 different places, airlines, hotels, they're transferable. It's almost like a type of currency that can be used for 15 different countries, but they're airlines and hotels. So Chase Ultimate Rewards are like the gold standard of points. And that's really where we began. Then there's the American Express membership reward points. Those are also highly sought after point family.
They have some cool benefits.
They really do. And you don't have to figure this out on your own. There's a list of resources that put together the top cards lists. Every month they'll come out and be like, these are the highest point value cards. And it gives you an idea of where to start in your venture. So, and I want to give you just a few examples. This is one of my organizational methods. I'll show you a blank page. It has little, like almost like a business card slip in here. what I do is put the cards, the physical cards in here, and list out the benefits of the card as well as what was the bonus point and how much do we have to spend to get that sign-on bonus. So I just want to give you a few examples. So for example, whenever we got the, I was going to start our first one was the Chase Sapphire Preferred.
Yeah, and we kind of even realized that we kind of messed up on that, right?
We did. We messed up doing that one. But almost always that should be your first card you start out with. But the reason we made an error is that we didn't realize when we started playing this game that Chase will waive the annual fee for military members and their spouses.
Oh, yeah.
And so I had chose the Chase Sapphire Preferred over the Chase Sapphire Reserve because the Reserve had a higher annual fee. But come to find out, Chase would have waived it because we're military.
Right. And they give and that's basically just due to extra benefits the card might give you.
Yes, yeah, you get
Or,
extra benefits.
Different airport lounges or different annual fees that they reimburse you for, stuff like that. And we'll get into that.
So just some examples here. I'm not even going to name the type of card. I'll just say what the bonus was for how much we had to spend. So this one, for example, you get 75,000 points if you spend $4,000 over a 3-month period. So buying groceries, gasoline, paying our recurring bills, that is very easy for us to spend $4,000 in a 3-month period.
Right, yeah.
So to get 75,000 points, we just had to quit using our debit card and use this one particular card for those 3 months until we hit the $4,000 threshold.
Right.
Once we hit the threshold, we move on to the next one. And again, usually the next one is just referring the P2 to the exact same card. Then they open it up and we do that again. Another 75,000 points to spend $4,000 over 3 months. And we slowly just do that across time to build up our points.
Right.
Another example, 80,000 points to spend $3,000 over 3 months. Not hard to do. And I mean, this is what it's all about. But to summarize, so we started this in 2023, midway through 2023. And I wanted to kind of do the math to share with you. So last year, because we're now in 2024, together combined, we opened up 6 different credit cards. For those 6 credit cards, we earned 555,000 points, over 500,000 points. And when you total up how many annual fees we had to pay, it was $95 in annual fees. And the reason was because most of those cards we opened up in 2023 were personal cards through Chase Bank, who waives the annual fee. The only ones that really didn't get the annual fee waived were our business cards. Because if you have a business, it opens up the window in this game even wider. Because the business cards have even higher bonuses for just a little higher minimum spend. But it was easily doable. So Indie Life Adventures is Nick's LLC, so that lets him open up business cards. And then I have an LLC, Ozark Resorts, and so that lets me open up business cards. So together between personal and business cards on that first year, we only had to pay $95 in credit card fees, and it was over 500,000 points. Now, in 2024, we've really went down the path of more business cards because there's a lot more points to be earned there. We have opened up a total of 9 cards. We have earned 820,000 points, and we have in fact paid $874 worth of annual fees.
Right, but let's just point out that not all those cards were business cards.
No, they weren't. They were not all.
And you don't have to have a business to play the game, but it is beneficial if you are.
6 of the 9 cards were business cards.
Right, and this year we did do a lot of business cards, but
so all total, since we started this, we've opened up 15 new credit cards. We have earned 1,375,000 points and paid $969 in annual fees. Now, I just want to say the reason we're talking about this is because we used these points to go to Japan. So I want to explain how much that trip cost. So for the Japan trip, we each got 2 round-trip business class tickets, and the hotels for the 15-day stay, we purchased that with points. We ended up using 821,489 points to go to Japan. And for our hotel and airlines, the out-of-pocket cost was less than $300.
Yeah.
So the trip still cost us lots of money because we paid for trains and subway and food and activities. But we didn't have to pay for flights or hotels because we used those points.
Minus the Capsule hotel?
The Capsule hotel we did pay for cash through Expedia.
Yeah. But that was actually pretty cheap because it's a Capsule hotel.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. It's basically, it was a hostel, right?
Yes. So. Now, again, I want to come back around to this. You know, we've paid almost $1,000 in fees, but there are perks to these cards that have significantly offset those. And just one perk was the fact that if you pay for your cell phone bill with particular cards, they give you insurance on your phone. And I dropped my phone in the Chesapeake Bay, submitted the claim, and got $1,000 back, just because I paid my phone bill with that particular credit card. So even though we paid $969 in fees, I was able to get $1,000 back just on my cell phone insurance. So I feel like that's a hell of a deal, not to mention all the other perks that we get just that the card benefits have.
Right, well, at least it covered that, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely covered that. So, yeah.
It didn't necessarily cover the entire expense of the phone, but it did cover our expenses. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. Did we win?
We won. Hell yeah, we won.
You dropped your phone in the river.
We won.
Or the bay.
We did drop my phone in the bay. We won.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Okay. Well, she says we're winning, so I'm going to go along because I'm just a player too.
We're winning. So I'm going to circle back real quick to the new card procedures. I went through the checklist where you activate the card, you set up your auto pay, add it to a tracking spreadsheet.
It's easy to lose these things.
It's easy to lose track. When you start doing this, you must be organized. So we have an Excel spreadsheet where I track when we got the card, what date we have to meet the minimum spend, how much we have to spend to get the bonus. And then the next step is I add into the Todoist. I don't know if you guys use Todoist. I love it. It's a website, it's an app, but it lets you set yourself reminders. So if the card does have an annual fee, I add into my Todoist app, when is the 1-year anniversary? Because at the 1-year anniversary is when that card is going to charge you that annual fee again. It's important to know you've already earned the sign-on bonus. You don't need to keep that card. So the moment that annual fee posts 1 year later, you call the card and cancel it. Then they refund you that annual fee, and then you're good to go.
Yeah.
Now, something you may be thinking, what the hell does all this do to your credit score? Tell our viewers, what has this done to your credit score? Opening half of 15 cards in a year and a half, closing cards after 1 year of having them.
Well, I wouldn't say that I feel like it's hurt it.
Yeah. I monitor our scores. It has not hurt our score.
And overall, I feel like
at all.
It's kind of improved it to a point, and then it leveled out.
Yeah. It is not at all negatively impacted our credit scores.
And it's level at a point that's above average. Way above average.
Yeah. You're in the 800s, babe. You're above average.
I'm above average. But no, it does. So you get to a point where, I mean, I guess if you're worried about it, right? Don't worry about that part. Because, like I said, as long as you're doing it the right way and activating it to pay your bill automatically per the statement, because that's important.
It is very important. You do not roll over a balance on your card.
You do not roll over a balance, but you also don't pay it early.
Yes. Okay, that's a great point. Let's talk about that.
Because it's important, because when we're talking about credit.
You are absolutely right. Now is the time. When we first started this, neither of us were credit card users, and we were both super paranoid.
Well, I had been a credit card user
in the past, of course. When we were younger, and
I was like a credit card addict.
But
You know what I'm saying?
you know,
like
you
I
go
would,
through
I
that.
would spend money on credit cards. I'd run them up to the top.
Did you really?
I did a
Oh,
couple times,
oh
and
my.
I paid them off a couple times.
Yeah.
What I'm getting at is that,
Okay.
yeah, like the credit cards make things easy. Don't look at them like that.
Oh, yeah, yeah. There is a phase in
'Cause
your
that-
probably early 20s where we
Yeah.
all get our first card and we go a little crazy. So now we're in our mid 40s. We've learned those early lessons, have demonized credit cards for a long time.
Oh, yeah,
But
yeah.
now we're using them as a tool responsibly.
Yep.
It's a totally different thing than whenever we were right out of college. So what's important, when we first started doing this, we would pay 100% of whatever was on our card before the due date.
Oh yeah, I was like, I am never gonna pay.
Yeah,
interest.
we would
And that
not
was-
even let it get to the due date, and we would pay it off. Like, we were
Right.
so paranoid about
It
that.
freaked me out.
It did. It really was. It was like, we're not going to pay a bit of interest. Well, the problem was that because we never even let it get
Carry
to
a
the due
balance.
date,
We never carried a
the
balance.
card never carried a balance.
Exactly.
It didn't report to the credit card bureaus that we were actually
Using the credit
using the card or paying in a timely
card. Or
manner.
paying, yeah, exactly. So there was nothing. It was like you had a credit card, but you weren't getting any documentation that you were doing it responsibly.
Yeah. And so I assured him, like, we're still not going to get charged interest if we pay the statement balance on the due date.
Because I was like, wait a second, I've put money on there since then,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I called the company and I'm like, but you're telling me that if I just pay the statement balance? They're like, yes.
'Cause when
and I didn't trust them. I asked them several times. He's like, no, you have to understand.
Because you don't get charged the interest until
Yeah.
it's been a charge that's on your card for over 30 days.
Right, exactly. And I mean, when I'm talking, we had balances on these cards, and I'm like, I am not going to pay 20+% on whatever that balance is. That is insane. That's
But if
dumb.
you pay the statement balance in
Right.
full and on time, even though there may be more charges on the card, they'll get
Exactly.
paid off in the next statement balance.
That's right.
And then it reports to the credit bureau. It increases your credit score. You never get charged interest. So we've now done this. We're 15 cards in and have never paid one dime of interest.
That's true.
Because you must be organized. You have to stay
do.
on top of it.
And
Set
if
up the auto pay.
if you set up a checklist and you activate your card, and then you set up auto pay before you ever buy anything.
Exactly.
Like, don't buy anything until you do those first two things. Well, one, you can't buy anything until you activate your card.
Set up auto pay though.
So that's great. But step 2, which should be on there before you should ever be able to buy anything, is set up auto pay.
Yes. And then the third implied.
And when I say set up auto pay, the implied task is that you paid your statement balance.
in full.
And that is a choice that it asks you when you set it up.
Yeah. Because you don't want to just make minimum payments. Because then you
Right.
get charged interest.
No minimum payments.
Statement balance.
Statement balance.
I think we've emphasized that strongly.
Good.
The last emphasis I would make is do not let this change your spending habits. Just because you have to meet a $4,000 minimum spend over a 4-month period does not mean you need to go out and buy some expensive item that you've just been daydreaming about.
That you don't need and you didn't plan to buy in the first place.
Right. You just do your normal, regular spending. Because if you're spending more money than you would normally, you're not winning.
Right. Just spend the money you would have spent.
Yeah.
And
your
you can
normal
and
lifestyle.
it doesn't have to be your everyday spending. It could include your extra spending, right?
Right. But don't be spending money you wouldn't have spent otherwise.
Right. And don't spend money you don't have.
Exactly. Do not spend money you don't have. Because if I lead you into this game and it's your financial downfall, I will feel terrible. Like, this is a tool for financially responsible people to really leverage these credit card companies who are trying to trick you into using their cards and going in debt. But you're not going to be tricked. You're going to take their sign-on bonus and take their benefits and never pay them interest.
Well, I'm pretty sure they're not trying to trick you. They give you all the information.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
they do make a lot of money off
they
it
do.
if you did not pay
On time and in full
on
every
time
month.
and in full every month.
Okay, I want to run through a quick list of resources to help if you're interested in learning more. And I will put these exact resources in the show note description. The very first podcast I ever listened to that even lit up a light bulb about the potential of this was Chou's FI podcast episode 9. It is years old at this point, and I only listened to it 2 years ago because that's what triggered me starting this. But that podcast was like, holy crap, is this for real? I'm going to look into this. From there, 10xtravel.com is a phenomenal resource. They have a course that you can go through free, completely free, to teach you how to do this. It's long, but very detailed and excellent. You can speed up the process if you listen to their podcast. They created a podcast called Takeoff, a Points and Miles podcast. It's really good. And the first 6 episodes are like the audiobook version of their long course, but it's done very well. It is very interesting. I've actually listened to those episodes twice just to make sure it sunk in. So highly recommend that. For those military members who are listening in, there is a website called militarymoneymanual.com. They also have a podcast. Phenomenal resources that can actually tailor this game to those in the military because we get those annual fees waived on personal cards. That's where we did mess up in the beginning. I did not realize that, and my order of cards would have been different had I known that. So Military Money Manual podcast or militarymoneymanual.com. And there are so many different Facebook groups all about points and miles that I'd recommend you join. I'll put them in the show note description, even if it's just to start reading and listening and seeing what types of redemptions people are getting so that you know what's a good redemption or not. Because what happens is, and what I've found, it is really easy to earn the miles. It's not hard. We earned over 1 million miles in less than a year and a half of doing this. But when it comes time to redeem them and to find those deals on flights and how to leverage the transfer partners to get the biggest bang for your points, that is a whole different level of skill. And that is when it's time to really dig into those Facebook groups and the different resources and study, like, okay, wait a minute, how do you get those really good redemptions?
Right.
So those resources are there. Please dig in if you have any interest.
So, let me just say this. Like,
yes.
You make it sound daunting.
Oh.
You make it sound like it's this huge ordeal. Like, I have to take a class to do this. I have to do this at X, Y, and Z. It's not as hard as it sounds.
Coming from the P2.
Now, I would say you've done great.
Thank you.
But let me just say this. It's not as complicated as she describes it when you... from a perspective of, I have to take a course for this, right? But what I will say is these extra resources that she's listing are just the minutia. These are those small things that really can help you not just get a free trip to Cancun, right?
Yeah.
This can help you figure out how you can fly around the world.
Yes.
Right?
That's true.
For basically nothing.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about. So that's what she's talking about.
Yeah.
The information that you're looking for, as far as like, okay, so yeah, you want a free trip to Cancun? Go play the points and miles game, get some points, go to Cancun, right? You want to travel the world, dig in a little bit deeper and figure out there's these programs out there like the ANA.
ANA Around the World.
Around the world.
Al Nippon Airways for 125,000 points.
Right.
You can go around the world. It's amazing.
Right.
It is
and
super cool.
Almost on your own timeline.
Yes, yes. You get to create your trip that can last, I want to say you can take a whole year if you want to. It's amazing. So it's all these little things you discover.
But that's the point. What I'm trying to get to is not that, yes, this can be very complicated and you can really dive in to figure out how to do it. But don't be overwhelmed by that because... well, people like Dory, people like these podcasters, people like these other websites, they're digging into this stuff and they're finding these different little like tricks or deals or bonuses.
It is a deep rabbit hole,
right?
And really, you can go down.
And really, what it is it's like, how do you take? it's like understanding your credit card, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, something very simple. Don't worry about all this stuff. Worry about just your credit card. What does your credit card offer you? Dig in to your offers or your benefits, your card benefits, right? And when I say that, it's like how she talked about how we were able to utilize the insurance that was provided for her on her cell phone. Had she not read into the benefits to know that there was insurance provided for stuff
if I
like
just
that?
think about a few of the benefits, like the credit card benefits have paid for our global entry that gives us 5 years of global entry to where we get to shortcut the line to customs.
That's right. And if you want to shortcut the line to customs, find a card that has that benefit and they'll pay for it for free. And how much does that cost?
Oh, $125, I think.
Yeah, and how much additionally Clear. If you go and you watch those people in Clear,
the Clear line and TSA pre-check
that cut the line right, for free. You can do that for free.
$15 in Uber credits.
I will say that we came back through, where was that?
LAX.
LAX, and she went through the normal line because for whatever reason,
my ticket didn't have
her TSA pre-check, and so,
then you had Clear,
and I had Clear, and
I beat him through the line.
Not just by like
I beat him through the line a lot
by like minutes.
I know. I feel like we need to message the Clear people and give them that example. Like, what the hell? People pay to have Clear to cut the line, and I didn't even have pre-check and beat you through the line. Exactly.
But the point is that you can get your card to pay for that for you.
Yeah. And then just a few of the other benefits we use through the cards are free Walmart Plus, free DoorDash membership. We get the $15 a month
of
Uber credit.
Yeah, every month we get $15 free of
We get
Uber
$20 a month in subscription reimbursement, so like Disney Plus or Netflix.
Oh yeah, so find out which ones they do, and if you're using those already, pay with them.
Yeah, you pay it with that certain card, and they reimburse you.
They're going to reimburse you for it.
You get $200 airline credit for like any kind of fees that they charge you. So anyway, there's tons of benefits to each of these different credit cards. And so read through the benefits so that you're using those, because it's not just about the sign-on bonus. I mean, that's the big shiny object we're going after.
That's the goal, right?
But also use all those extra benefits that they offer.
Yeah. And so I guess my point is like, don't be overwhelmed by when Dory's talking about taking a course on how to do this.
Says the man who didn't book any of the reservations for Japan.
Hey, I am thankful that you did it, and that's why I am the player too.
The course has helped me know how to
exactly.
do
What
that.
I'm saying is, don't feel that you can't do this. Like, you can still benefit. Like, if you are just like, I am not that type of person, but I totally think what you're saying is really awesome, and I'd like to do that. Well, then do it. But you can do it better. You can. And the way you do it better is you study it, and you get into the lingo, and you listen to other people talking about their trips that did it, and you're like, oh, well, man, how did they do that?
Yeah.
And they tell you, just like we're doing.
Right.
And that's the whole point. Is so there's a whole wealth of knowledge out there, but don't feel like it's overwhelming, right? Even the idiot player too, like me, can understand and absorb it. And while she thinks I'm not really paying attention to what's going on, I think I sound like I do, right?
You do.
Exactly.
Yes. And there is a benefit we haven't even talked about yet that you are the owner of. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know. I don't even know I own this. What do I got? Let me go find this. Is it a car? Is it a car?
It's not a car.
Oh, man.
Tell our viewers about the Southwest Companion Pass.
You're the beneficiary of it, though.
But you're the owner of it.
Oh, yeah. So the Southwest Companion Pass, right?
Yes.
It's amazing because if you have a player one that wants to tag along with you,
Do you even know how you earned it? Because I just am like, use this card.
No, I know
Now
how I earned it. I had 2 Southwest cards that I had to get minimum spends on.
Yes.
But I had to meet a certain threshold, and once I met that threshold, I earned the companion pass.
Yes.
But that companion pass essentially is like having a buddy pass that you can give to anybody that you want to. Right?
Yes.
You have to name them, but once you do name them, and you can change that even, but everywhere you go, your companion can go with you.
For free.
For taxes.
Yeah, $5.40. So anytime he has a Southwest flight going anywhere, he adds me as a companion. If it's a domestic flight, I fly for $5.40. If it's an international flight, I fly for $11.20.
Yeah.
I think.
But it's a guaranteed ticket.
Yeah, as long as there's an empty seat on that same plane, he adds me as a companion. And so far, we have now used like 6 flights where you've added me as a companion and never once has a seat not been available.
So you know how expensive flights should be.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I mean. You get your ticket, and of course you're scouring the internet for that ticket price to get the best ticket price possible.
Yeah.
Right? So you go there, you get your ticket, and then what do? You say, oh, I want to take my companion with me.
And so to earn this companion pass, this helps me put it in perspective. You can either take 100 Southwest flights in a calendar year, and then you've earned the companion pass. If you take 100 Southwest flights in a year, that sounds awful to me.
I don't even know how many points or how many dollars that would cost.
I don't know.
That's
Let me tell you the easy way to earn the Southwest companion pass. You open up the Southwest credit card, and you earn 75,000 points by spending $3,000 in 4 months. When you get those 75,000 points, you then open up the Southwest Performance Business Card. And that one, you get 80,000 points by spending $3,000 in 3 months. Those 2 cards give you enough bonus points to qualify you for the Southwest Companion Pass. And you time it to where you get that Companion Pass, you qualify for it early in the year.
Early in the year, as early as possible.
January or February or March.
Yeah, the first quarter.
And then the Companion Pass is good for the rest of that year and the whole next year.
That's right.
So we got this in May of 2024, and I get to be your companion until December 31st of 2025.
Yeah.
Yep. And not only that, he's not stuck with me being his companion.
No, I can change it. So if I decide that I want to get a divorce and find a new girlfriend.
Oh, don't you dare say that.
Just kidding. If I decide that I want to take my girlfriend.
Your daughter.
If I decide I want to take
your daughter.
My daughter. Or
your son.
My son. Or my best friend.
Yes.
Or my girlfriend. I'm just kidding. There's no girlfriend.
You're about to be. This is about to become D-Life Adventures.
No. So anyway, yeah.
You can switch your companion up to 3 times, I think, per calendar year. But I'll have to double check the fine print.
Right.
But anyway, this benefit is amazing. And again, it's all part of the points and miles game. So yeah, I'm gonna flip through these and see if there's anything else.
Do you know who my girlfriend is?
Me?
You.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you. What I will also include in the show notes is exactly how many points it took to book each of the hotels and the business class flights. That way, for those of you who are interested, you can see that information.
Let's just say, what was the most expensive, though?
On the flight or the hotel?
No, between all of them. Like, if you're like, oh, the hotels or the points or the flights, what takes the most?
The flights.
Yeah, the flights. They're hugely expensive.
Yeah, so the business class flight. So again, we earned like 1.3 million points. We spent 820 points on this trip. For each of us to fly first class from Chicago to Tokyo was 110,000 points per business class ticket. And then our flight home from Tokyo was 103,500 points per ticket. And then on the very nicest hotel that we stayed in, which I think is the Intercontinental in Osaka, that was 39,000 points per night.
I'm going to disagree and say I think it was the Fuji Speedway.
The Fuji Speedway was only 24,000 points per night. And Hyatt Place Kyoto, that was only 8,000 points per night. 8,000 points per night for a hotel in Japan. And keep in mind, you can get a credit card sign-on bonus that gives you 90,000 points just to spend $4,000 over 3 months. Like, this is a real thing that really works.
Yeah, and that was Japan.
That was Japan.
That was Japan.
So it can be done. And part of the fun of joining all those Facebook groups is to see what people redeem their points for, and it inspires you to try new things and to go new places.
Right. I'm not even sure what some of the weird stuff people are able to buy with it, but I'd be interested to know.
Yeah, it's super cool.
You know, can you buy real stuff with it?
With your points?
Yeah.
Yeah. So great question. You can redeem your points for cash. Points, essentially, if you redeem them for cash, are like 1 cent a point. But when you redeem them for travel, you can maximize the benefit to where sometimes you're getting 3 cents per point, up to like 10 cents per point. Like, you can find amazing deals. So you can cash them out for cash anytime you want. You can also connect your points to Amazon and just spend them as cash. Right. But the idea is that if you use them for travel, your points can go so much further. And you brought up a good point, because if you're really not interested in doing this for travel, there are different cards that are better for redeeming for cash.
Okay.
There's like whole groups out there that are all about using credit cards for cash back. And it's the same strategy, but for a different purpose.
Well, and I used to do that back in the day. It was kind of like my way I got initiated into
the Discover card used to give cash back.
Oh, well, yeah, but not just cash back, but even just
they might still.
Some of the cards I used to use they had like a point system, and you got to buy products off their site for that, like real things, like tangible items. Like you could buy like wine glasses or a guitar or
I don't think there's
something like you would find on the
Sky Mall
catalog. Yes, it was great. It was fun. It made me like think, oh, what am I going to spend my money on, right?
So, funny story.
But that's really kind of the beginning. It really is, if you think about it, because that's where...
That has led you to this moment.
Not only that, but what did it lead us to? What kind of got us into that? What kind of got us into this in the first place? And I really want to talk about that. Okay. Like, where did we start?
The Sam's Club card.
And what we started...
Well, yeah,
basically by using a big box store card, not like a card that you would buy from like an Eddie Bauer store or some merchandise retail place like that. But
it was because I had a coworker who we were talking, and he said that he put all his spending on his Sam's Club card because he would get cash back at the end of the year.
And we were at that point right there.
Right then, it was like this moment of like, maybe we could do something beyond our debit card.
Well, and because we were both still anti-credit card.
We were but that was like our first stepping stone. We did the cashback card with the Sam's card.
Because we're like, well, we use Sam's all the time.
Yeah.
And we buy this and that, and we're like, well, if we're spending this much money here, we might as well get some money back. And that worked
beautifully.
It did, yeah.
And then we just transitioned once another coworker told me about this whole travel deal. And then we looked into that and saw that the money goes even further if you have an interest in traveling, which we do.
Because like those cards that give you cash back or money back on your purchases and money spent on that, those are actually really cool if that's all you want to do with it.
Do you know
But you don't get a way to multiply that.
Right. And the traveling really lets you... I mean, it's crazy how much you can... depending on you got to go down the redemption rabbit hole, but you can really transform the value of your points on the redemption side if you dive deep into it.
Right. But again, it's all about responsibly using your card.
Yeah.
If you can't manage money, this isn't the thing for you.
No. Not at all.
Because if your desires and your appetite for whatever it is that's out there is overshadowing your fiscal responsibility,
don't do this.
I won't even ask you. I'll just say don't. Don't do it.
So I know we need to wrap it up.
Yep.
And I have a funny story that we can start the wrap-up process.
Well, wait. We have a couple things that we want to talk about
Okay.
before we wrap it up. Or do we want to wait?
Are we talking about this?
Yeah.
Oh, I was still going to do that.
Okay. Well, then go on with your funny story.
Thank you. So, funny story is my very first credit card ever. Do you remember your very first credit card ever?
Yeah, I think I do.
Do you want to tell about yours first or not at all? I can just tell mine because mine's an interesting story. Sort of interesting.
Well, my very first credit card, I believe, was a Bank of America credit card.
Oh.
It was either, I'm pretty sure it was Bank of America.
My very first credit card. I was a college student at Southeastern Louisiana University in Hammond, Louisiana. And it was a very rainy day. And in the Commons area, they had a booth where you could sign up for a credit card and get a free umbrella. And that was my first credit card. It was a BP gas card. And I got my umbrella and I moseyed my way on to class. I ended up keeping that BP card for...
You did.
I had it forever. And they finally ended up just closing it because of inactivity. And I wanted to hang on to it because it just showed that I'd had an account since like 1997.
Right.
But yeah, my BP gas card was my very first credit card that I filled out for an umbrella. So,
I'm pretty sure mine was a Bank of America card. And I used that thing like it was like a lightsaber. You know what I'm saying? Like
I used mine responsibly.
That thing cut through like it was like that thing cut through you know, any obstacle that stood between me and what I wanted, that thing was there.
You've come a long way.
It was lightsaber. It was like the perfect weapon to get whatever I wanted. Just stick my Bank of America card there. And then I had to pay it off. I did that twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm hoping our children learn from our lessons. Like we tell them all the time about responsible financial usage, and you just never know what's going to sink in or not.
My second card was USAA.
Oh.
I think. Now, I had some merchandise cards, but those are different.
Those are terrible.
They're terrible. Don't ever use them.
Don't use the specific store-branded cards.
Specific store-branded cards are terrible. Don't use them.
Okay. Now, we're wrapping up.
We're wrapping up.
You were going to go now and go in.
Oh, I was probably going to take it on a tangent and talk more about some really cool,
we're going to reel in
stuff.
your tangent.
All right.
As we close the show for tonight, I want to thank our newest sponsors. So, sponsors.
Sponsor? We don't have any sponsors.
No. I've got mixed up because I want to add a sponsor too.
We have a sponsor?
No, but I have this idea where I highlight something that I like and love and like say they're a sponsor with the disclosure that they're not really our sponsor, but promote their business because they're a good quality product. So, yeah, in my brain, I was going to thank our subscribers and then highlight our sponsor.
Call them sponsors.
No, it was a mix-up in my head.
Oh, okay.
Because I was going to, I'll switch it around and highlight our sponsor.
We don't have a sponsor.
I know, but I have a merchant I want to highlight as being an excellent merchant.
Our merchant of the day.
That could maybe one day be a sponsor.
It'd be nice.
Is Soothing Home Sofa Covers. You may notice this lovely patterned, soft, beautiful cushion cover. Wait till you see what it does. So this is meant for a couch, but I had this idea that we should get these for the boat because we have dogs that shed everywhere and it makes it so much easier for cleanup. So these Soothing Home sofa covers work on boats. They should really promote these for the boating industry.
They kind of work. They don't always work.
They don't fit exactly, but for our purposes, they make cleanup with the dogs so much easier because after the dogs shed, every time we're on the boat, we have to use the shop vac, but then I can just take all these covers off and take them home and launder them, and it makes it easy because then all the dog fur is not on the couch.
That's right.
So, Soothing Home Sofa Covers is our sponsor merchant highlight of the episode.
Could you put that back on there?
I'll put it on afterwards. Right. So yeah, our real sofa cushion color is a bit darker than our sofa cushions.
Wow.
But back to now highlighting our newest subscribers.
Yes.
Thank you to Rich, to Desmond, and to 2 different Kevins.
Yes.
So yeah, 4 new subscribers since our last episode. So thank you so much. Please share our channel with anyone you might think would be interested. We will continue to try to have quality content and just genuinely appreciate the faith to hit subscribe to believe that we'll actually put out quality content.
One day.
Today.
I mean, someday there's just...
We could have just shared some travel knowledge that will change people's lives.
I hope so. But the better knowledge is don't use credit cards unless you
are financially responsible.
And you can use credit cards.
And you pay them on time and in full every month.
That's right. Otherwise, don't use them.
Okay. Are you ready with your closure pen?
I don't know. It has to be held horizontally, it said.
All right.
Let's try this.
We thank you so much for spending your time with us. Have an absolutely wonderful day. And keep an eye out for IndieLifeAdventures.com once we learn how to design a website.
That'll be a process.
Yep.
But I've got that. All right.
All right. Thank you.